All right, we'll start in a minute or two or something like that. I don't know. Well, you can still go to bed. I've been streaming a lot lately, which means I may stream more in the future. So, you know, you don't have to see everything. All right, let me get my drink set up and all that. Yeah, people in chat are doing a good job. No, it's not Lexer and parser. It's compilation and linking. Yeah. Linking is basically a waste of time completely. The way it is currently done. Is that what you'd call an in-memory compiler? Well, I wouldn't call it that. But maybe someone would. I don't know. I mean, all compilation happens in memory or using memory. I don't know, man. People have weird names for things. It is what it is. Is this the first compiler that does this? No, not remotely. No. I'm going to look up some things on the web in the few minutes before we start. Hmm. Huh. So, I'm looking up numbers for the Go compiler. And it's really slow. Because Go is really one of the only other languages to publicly say they really care about compile speed recently. And they already take like 4 or 5 times longer to compile than we do. According to, I don't have exact numbers here. I'm just reading some things, but I don't know, man. Nobody knows how to make fast software anymore, is all I'm saying. We haven't even optimized our damn compiler yet. What other compilers do you know of that also do the whole thing in one step? I don't know specifically. I feel like, for example, like the standard ML of New Jersey compiler, they didn't do this stuff. But like, it's just, yeah. Yeah, unused variables should not be a compiler error. That's bananas. Go made some really bad decisions that I don't understand. It also made some really good decisions. So you can't really blame them. All right. Well, we had some more bugs filed on us recently, and there are 3 still open. There's a semicolon problem in the parser that's really dumb. There's a circular dependency problem that's not being reported incorrectly. That could be easy or it could be very difficult. And then there's an isConstant bug with optional bake, which probably isn't that hard. But I want to do the semicolon one first, because it actually could be hard to fix well, because it's well, let's go look at the test case for instance. So basically, at some point, I deleted some conditional in the compiler somewhere, and now it'll accept declarations most of the time if you put a semicolon, which the optional semicolon people are maybe happy about, but it's really not good. Like, if it's not supposed to be that way, it shouldn't be that way. So the way it's supposed to work is that these are okay. If it ends in a brace, you don't need a semicolon. But this kind of thing should definitely need semicolons. And, so should this. So there's a few things in here that are weird, and it's time to go through and clean them out. But it's made a little bit weird by the fact that maybe I want to do some higher level cleanup first, because I have this thing called parse declaration, and it eats semicolons at the end of it. Let's go back there. So it eats semicolon down here, if only because we look for notes after a declaration and attach them explicitly. Maybe we shouldn't do that, but there may be some complications involving why we do this way. I'm not sure. So one thing we could do is remember the last declaration, and then if you see a note, attach it to the previous declaration. Of course, that has to be a per scope kind of a situation. Okay, anyway, so that's one thing that we do that's a little bit weird, is we eat the semicolon at the end of the declaration, whereas for many statements, we do it on a per statement level. Now, one of the reasons why it's weird is because declarations in parameter blocks, they're separated by commas, and so we don't have semicolons there. All right. So we have this version of parse declaration, which is the more like the top level version. That other one we were looking at, this is maybe if you've already parsed a little bit of stuff and then you realize it's a declaration. One thing that could be happening is you have comma separated identifiers. That could be the start of a declaration. So we parse that and we still don't know what it is. It could be a declaration. It could be an assignment, right? Yeah, so of course we could handle that differently. We could parse comma separated operator as its own thing and then desugar it into a declaration if we want to, which sounds nutty, except that we already do this desugaring steps somewhere to break it into multiple declarations. Maybe that happens when we return. Doesn't look like it happens here. There's not enough code for that. Okay. Anyway, so this is the one that you maybe call, if you just know something is a declaration. I don't know if anyone calls this anymore. Well, probably people do. Probably people do a look ahead. Let's see who calls that. Parse declaration. No, this guy does. Add context. Okay, that's a case. Parse comma separated declarations. Calls that. So that's another weird thing, is you could probably insert a semicolon in a comma separated declaration and it would work. So there's a little bit of skeeziness about this that we need to go through and clean out, basically. Declarations are complicated right now, and they've evolved a lot over time. So I want to just look at the code. I may not even do that much, right? I just want to look at it. Well, I'll do something eventually because I want to fix this bug. But for a while, I'm just going to look at it and understand why all the complications crept in and what I can do to simplify it. So other kinds of declarations there can be. Now when you say using whatever, that's a declaration no matter what. An operator overloaded procedure, right, is a declaration under all conditions. So now one thing I could do, if the declaration insists on parsing its own semicolon, right, then I could put a flag on the declaration that it has a semicolon. And then, if I see that in an argument list, I could say, look, that's not good. Under normal conditions, I would just jump up and do that. The problem is we only have one declaration flag left. before we expand it to 64 bits. But that could be a fun thing to do, is try to remove declaration flags. In that way, that doing one thing, like, look at all these declaration flags. I mean, I think we use all of them, but I could break. So one worry about making it 64-bit is the compiler might not be that smart about comparisons, and we might take a performance hit from that. I could break it into something more like syntactic flags of when people declare stuff, right? Like, hey, it's using, or it's a placeholder, or it must be received. That means you did hashtag must. And some of these, or inline markers, but some of these are things only the compiler uses, like this is a default iterator name. We could break it into two declaration fields for like user-facing and non-user-facing. The problem with that is that we don't have strongly typed flags in C++, and so I think we're really asking for trouble if we do that. We're asking for a lot of bugs if we do that. I mean, I'm sure there's some template bullcrap you can do, but I'm not interested in that because that'll hurt compile times. So I don't know. Yeah, my current laptop is a Razer Blade. It's not the Stealth, it's the regular, the 14. And I would buy another one, except that the one they just announced has no trackpad buttons. And I'm like, screw you, Charlie. Why would you do that to me? Well, at some point, we will convert the compiler to the new language. If we were to do that, then this is a problem we would not have, right? We could make separate flag fields. They could have different types. It would all be fine. I wonder if I could make one unsigned and one signed. That would only give me warnings. It's a stupid hack. Like, what happens if you take a signed number and you OR an unsigned that's known to be constant? Is that a warning? I don't know. That's too stupid. I'm not going to worry about it. Like, literally, if I make a declaration has semicolon, it's literally the last thing. It's the last available flag. We're going to need more flags eventually. I could put it on the syntax tree node. Like, we have these ast flags. Where are they? Oh no, they're not labeled ast, I guess. Oh, here we go. These ones, and we're not using nearly as many, but the thing is these are supposed to go on any node. And so if we abuse this to start putting declarations flags, that's kind of bad. Although we have a semicolon related flag there already, so maybe we'll put it there. This is already asking for trouble though, because it's a different flag field. There's probably at least one bug in the compiler about checking the wrong flag field with one of these. Is no reset still used? Oh. That is true. I mean, I think if we did that, we would do it a different way. Yeah, I don't believe it's used. This old thing is maybe toggling us between which data segment we would be in. It's a long story. I could remove, let's put that on the list. Remove declaration, no reset. I mean, that gives me another flag. That doesn't make me feel super a lot better, but it does give us one more flag. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I feel good about this. Because I can stop thinking and fix the bug. Like, my goal is just to get things. Actually, no, I want to look at the parser more and try to simplify. But we can say this will be the plan to get back a flag if we want to use a flag. You know, some of them are really not necessary. So like function argument or return is not necessary. Simply because now we can look at the scope that the declaration's in and it has a type tag on it. So like, that's another one we can get. Some of these, yeah, I don't know. We could probably get a few more if we really, really wanted to. Let's line these up, huh? Actually, we should, yeah. Let's not. Is design stream something I see happening? No, because I don't want to spoil the games. What's the issue with going to 64 bits? A tiny performance hit? Yeah, I mean, in principle, there's no performance hit. Because, you know, if on a CPU a 32-bit or AND is faster, you could just read out of that particular slot. It's just I'm not completely sure that the compiler is going to do that. And it also, of course, takes more memory. Like, there's a lot of declarations. Of course, all these data structures take tons of memory right now, and we could reduce those. Yeah, the eye tracker is new in the past week. What's my background personally? I'm a person who makes video games for a living. I have to sneeze again. That's also my background. Hold on. Oh, I have a really good announcement for the stream. For those of you who have been following along for a long time. Tonight, once again, I think for the first time since I moved back to San Francisco, we have cupcakes in the house. This will be a cupcake stream. It is likely to happen. I'm not going to eat them yet because I just had dinner, but these are not mini cupcakes. These are full-size cupcakes, okay? These are serious. They are mint chocolate chip cupcakes. Yeah. I can't, I just feel so full from dinner right now. I can't have one yet, but I will. They're full size. Yeah, dude, Jeff and Casey never hung out in Seattle anyway, like, because Casey's busy working on his game, and Jeff is traveling all the time back and forth between his two homes. So I'm actually going to see Jeff in a few weeks. Whoa, what just unplugged? Was it my keyboard? My keyboard. I'm going to see Jeff in a couple weeks anyway. I'll see him now just as much as I ever did. Okay. Maybe I don't have to sneeze. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So, I think I'm going to look at the parser some more. And then we'll probably remove declaration no reset. And you make that flag. It's kind of a dumb way to use a flag, but really, it's the one that occurs to me right now. Someone has to catch a mistake, so you all get a cupcake instead of being fired. Well, I can fire people for free, but if I ship you cupcakes, that costs a lot of money. So I don't know. I don't know if that's actually how it's going to work. All right. So let's go back to parse declaration. Let's see if we can figure out. So we parse declaration after add context directive. That's fine. That's pretty straightforward. What does check parsed declaration do? Oh yeah, this is where we desugar a comma separated declaration into, this is ugly. I kind of wish this wasn't in the language, but we need it. It's too convenient. There's frankly probably some bugs around that. Now I have to sneeze again. Okay, so this is one time we call parse declaration. That's the declaration of parse declaration. Here's another time. So, oh, that's, wait, what? Call, ding, ding. So there we're just calling the other version. Here, comma separated declarations. So this is a loop, and we just parse a bunch of declarations with commas between them, and you know, we do the $ stuff that can happen in procedures, right? Procedure declarations can have a little bit more than regular declarations can. Okay, where is this? Is this in parse one statement? Right. So a statement can be a declaration, clearly. And this is, oh, this is after comma separated arguments. So we're going to have another one. Oh, that's if we say operate or whatever. And that's not that many calls. So that doesn't seem actually too messy to me. I feel like I've cleaned it a fair bit. So syntactically, there's really two cases. There's comma-separated declarations in procedures, and there's everybody else, is the two things. Isn't true enlightenment play the music so loud that you can't hear your Windows sounds? That's why all those JavaScript programmers are playing loud music on their streams. I understand now. It makes sense. Alrighty, so now what? I'm just going to do the flag. And, you know, if we change the way that we parse notes, we won't need the flag anymore. So I'll put that, a comment about that on the flag. Does Sokoban use fmod? No. I ported the mixer. So I wrote a sound system for Braid because you need to do that to do all the trippy, you know, stuff that Braid does with audio. And then I used a descendant of that system in the witness, and then I ported that to the Sokoban game. So it's my audio system. Is the grammar LL1 or does it use the further look-aheads? It uses further look-aheads. Like, there's no reason. This is one of those things that, like, academic compiler people are goofy about. Like, nobody cares on a modern computer how many look-aheads you want to do, right? Like, look-ahead is so cheap. I could look ahead 1,000 symbols and nobody gives a crap. I think I look ahead 2 or 3 at most. But this whole, like, classifying grammars by how much look-ahead they need is a little weird. Like, it maybe made sense in 1950. But at this point, nobody cares. Like, really nobody cares. And when you start obsessing about that, it's a sign that your priorities are in the wrong place. Even in the 1950s, it was probably cheap to do several tokens of look-ahead, honestly. So, I don't know. Does the audio system still support the features from Braid? Yes, mostly. Yeah. Is that audio system open source? No. No. Okay, let's do this stuff. Let's get our flag. Let's remove declaration no reset. Okay, so I needed to make sure nobody's paying attention to this flag. I think nobody is, but data plus big constants. Okay, we're putting that in options. Nobody is checking options. All right. So let's get rid of that. Wait, that's, Hold on, that's the wrong flag. Declaration no reset. I almost did something really stupid there. Okay. Let's make sure that x64, don't use it, data plus big, nope, they don't care. LVM, they don't care, great. So, all right, declaration no reset is gone. After we finish this, I'm going to question whether I really need to make a new flag. Do we even use no reset data segment? I don't think so. Let's check that. Look at all this no reset stuff. Okay. That was just someone setting that options again. Okay. I'm just going to delete all this no reset stuff. This is good. It's always good finding lines of code to remove, even if it's like 10, because if it's like this and they're just, or in this case, it'll be like 4, but there'll be weird if statements, more than 4 already. There'll be weird if statements just polluting other stuff and making it look more complicated. And the reason that sometimes that complication of program spirals out of control is people don't keep a tight lid on this stuff. You know, I'm sure there's lots more simplifications I can make that of this kind that I've even forgotten about. And that's not even counting actual simplifications to the functionality we're really using. Okay, so we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need this, so now we get a small runtime performance improvement because we're no longer checking that. Is there anything left? Whoops. It, of course, changed what I'm searching for, Visual Studio Einstein level design. It didn't used to do that. Like, Visual Studio used to be so much better. It used to be so much better before they decided to get too smart about everything. All right, so let's do a full rebuild because I don't really trust this program. Would I consider putting a braid mechanic in Sokoban? Not really, because it's complicated enough to do that if you're not basing your game around it, it's rough. You know, Sokoban is going to be hard to ship. It is an ambitious game in a certain way that we haven't really revealed, and it's going to be hard to ship. Okay. Let's see if this works. It does. We've still got our little error message living in there. 9:20 p.m. That is fresh. Let's run tests. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's great. So let's commit. That's good. No matter what happens, we made progress today. I didn't do a line count before, but 41807, oh my God, it's getting so big. Oh my God, this compiler is getting so big. We were at like 415 last week. We're like 300 lines up. Did I do that? What are we doing? Snake. Ignacio, remove some code. Oh, documents. Documents. Might be some debug info code. You know, adding more functionality. Oh, that. I added a couple lines. I don't know. Maybe I added it all. Maybe my error reporting stuff added lines. Let's make sure we don't have any ghost files in here. That happens sometimes. Anyone see any file that doesn't belong? Oh, the hash table stuff. Oh, that was before that, though. These all look legit. Wow, we did that stuff recently, the hash table thing. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a bloated program now. Cold frustration. Yep, it's a good level. When I refer to game 3, that's a different game that isn't going to come out for a while. It's so basically what's going on is game 3 is waiting until we have this new language done and a full game engine to make it in. So Sokoban game is the way that we're building that engine up. And then probably the next game in that engine after Sokoban is game 3. Probably. What algorithm does random generator use? It's, what do you call it? It's the dumb one that everybody uses. This one. It's not particularly... it's not a particularly serious random number generator. It's an LCG. I forget which one. We might, the one that's actually in the standard library for the language. Oh, it's the same one. Yeah. No, Mersenne Twister is widely agreed to be terrible at this point. Nobody uses Mersenne Twister. What kind of numbers pushed us to finally use a hash table? OpenGL defines a lot of symbols in a namespace, and it was impacting compilation speed. All that's on stream, by the way, from last week, if you want to go back and look. Good evening. Do we foresee making sequels to any of the games? Not Witness, not... Well, maybe Sokoban. Not Witness. I can't make a sequel to Witness. I have no idea how. Braid, I was going to make a game that was not exactly a sequel. Back before I did Witness, I had an idea for a tactics game that was kind of going to be a Braid sequel-ish. It was called Parallel Universe Tactics. But like the prototype just never really was a playable game. So, yeah, that didn't happen. Where Send Twister is a default RNG for the C++ standard library. Yeah, it's just terrible, though. It's slow, and the random number quality is not that good. Okay, now what? No, I didn't make my own random number generator. If you read the PCG paper, it's a good way to learn about random number generators. Just look that up. Look up PCG. I forget the name of the actual paper. Okay. Why is someone looking at... Yeah. Okay. Now, instead of making a new flag, I wonder if I can just return it. Right? Like, when I parse a declaration, let's just try saying bool got semicolon. Because this is C++, I have to tediously frickin' do this. So if we see a semicolon, we just return that. Because I don't think we need this flag for very long, so we might as well just make it a Boolean. Parse declaration. Parse comma separated declaration. Got semicolon. False. If got semicolon. Report parse error. Decal. Semicolons are invalid in parameter declarations. Okay. That added some lines of code right there, man. I don't have a good feeling about this. All right, so you know what? Rather than passing the information out, I should pass the information in. I should pass the information in about whether semicolons are okay. Yay, 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 yay. Because so I think I can't get here. I'm pretty sure these lines of code aren't actually active. Yeah. So let me see. I'm going to write down that I have to check this. Remove this assert. Okay, this is one of those times when now I regret using C++, because I have to go change this redundantly. Need semicolon. No, not need semicolon. Let's just say that doesn't need to be there. Bool is parameter, right? I even put this in a different place. Yeah. Where did I? Okay. It gets really confusing when I start doing something and then I start doing a different thing. Let's just make this compile again. Wait, what is this got semicolon? Oh, no, that's my old thing. And this is parsing parameters. So true. True. Okay, so we need to pass it. Okay. Okay, so for that one, we'll make it false. And then down here, it makes me nervous having two booleans next to each other in the parameter list. Got semicolon 1495. Okay, that's fine. We're just going to make it compile again. We're going to run the tests. We haven't actually changed anything functionally, but then I want to make sure that that assert goes off. Okay. Run tests. The compiler generally just reports the first error right now, unless the errors are undeclared identifiers, in which case it reports all of them. That seemed like the most reasonable way right now to not have to over-engineer things and also not spam people like C++ with mostly errors that don't mean anything. Later, when we parallelize the type checker, we'll probably report maybe up to 1 error per procedure or something like that. But even in that case, you probably want to filter stuff out. Like you change the type of something that a lot of procedures use, and then you get bombarded. So I don't know. OK. Let's run this in debug build to make sure that assert never goes off. If it does, then maybe I need to simplify things more. It does go off. So maybe I want to factor that out. Let's see. And I'm going to turn off my volume so I can't hear that. Sorry, folks. Maybe I'll turn down desktop volume on OBS so you don't have to suffer so much. Oh, it's already down. Turning it down even more. We don't need that. We don't need any of these. We solved that problem long ago. OK. Line 390 of basic. A destructor. OK. Well, we'll just do it here. So we're going to factor this. $39.02. I can't type. Okay. All right, so we're just going to do that. Turn true, actually. That would have been a dumb thing to debug. Return false. So the reason for lambdas or structs, or enums actually, is that they end in a brace. And so it's like, well, fine. OK, so we do that. Some declarations make it all the way down here, but then other ones, so in parse declaration, we have semicolon. OK. If it's not a parameter, I guess we just look for a thing here. If token type is not equal to semicolon and declaration needs semicolon with this expression. We probably will find some case in which this logic is wrong, but let's do it. Report parse error token. Do we have a report parse error? Lexer token. Semicolon expected after a declaration. Return result. Otherwise, we just eat our things and do our notes. Let's see. Let's just see. Not all control paths. Wait, not. I was just editing the wrong thing. Needs return true. Return true. Hope somebody caught that. Okay, well, we compiled. Semicolon expected after a declaration. There is a semicolon there. Wait, that's the expression? That's the token. That's weird because oh God. Okay, here's okay, I set up the logic a little bit wrong. The return value parsing counts as parameters. So we ate this as part of the return value. And then, yeah. Okay, so where was that? Is parameter. That is what we wanted to do. It still may not be completely right, but that was a goof. I admit it. Semicolon expected after a declaration. Oh, it's a here string. Yeah, we don't need semicolons after here strings. So do we mark that it was a here string on the literal? Let's see. So the expression should be a literal. I believe we should because we want to be able to print things out, you know, just like they were. Does program print handle this? No, we never say hash string. Okay, so incomplete hash string directives. All right. This means we may not mark this, which means we should do that now. Value type literal string. Okay, we need to mark it. And we're going to abuse the ast flags for this. we're going to say if expression flags and ast is, because we don't have flags on the literal. I could put flags on the literal. We'll do that later maybe, because that adds more memory. Ast is from string directive, return false. One two four eight 1248 1248 1248. Well, we'll put it down here. Ast is from string directive equal. Amazing how long this is taking, by the way. This is an abuse of ast flags. This only gets set on the literal created by string. Do we let array literals not have a semicolon? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, anyway, ast is from string directive. I mean, we could say that, but that doesn't, we need this just for clarity. All right. When we parse a string, hash string, string, we make a string literal. Literal flags is this. See how that goes. What am I fixing? I'm fixing the fact that semicolons were jacked, and you could make declarations without semicolons. And the function where you capture console output, you busy wait for the pipe handles. No, we don't busy wait. Oh. Wait. Really? Does zero timeout mean zero? Interesting. I thought we weren't busy waiting, but I guess we were. That's just a mistake. Hey, we caught a mistake. Okay, I'm going to write down to check this. That's a good point. Wait for multiple objects. We've got so many things to do today. All right. By the way, if we were busy waiting, that means, oh no, that example from Microsoft didn't use wait for multiple objects. Okay. Print line 931. Build skip line 320. That's not good. That's a struct, bro. Maybe it's bound to a type definition. Let's see. Why are these only Ignacio's files? What is he doing? Besides nesting stuff in a struct. Look at all this frickin' XML, man. All right. This generates a Visual Studio project file for your build. I haven't used it, but oh, that's old build. Let's break in that and see what the expression is. Expr. Null. Why is the expression null? What is going on? Result. What's result? It's a declaration. Identifier, project generator. It's got a type instantiation. Type valued expression. Right. This is not what he meant. I don't think he meant to declare a type here, so I'm just going to fix this and see what happens. Because you really do want a semicolon on the end of that if it's a struct. Just to, because it's an uncommon thing to want to do. All right. No, not the release build. That doesn't know any of this stuff. Oh, did I screw something up? Well, let's see. Semicolon expected after a declaration. We somehow didn't parse the note correctly. Okay, well, let's debug these in order here. I have a feeling I'm going to hit this problem when I run out of parse errors. I'm not sure why. That's weird. Okay, semicolon expected after a declaration. This is all Ignacio's stuff. Bro! Oh, except he might... Oh, no. He really does want that. Okay. He really does want this. So I'm gonna require a semicolon here just to... what was the other one? Just to make sure that people really mean to do this, because it's a weird thing to do, and we're probably going to have library namespacing do this better. So... like, this is not really how I want this to go eventually. But we don't have better library support. He's basically just trying to put all this in a namespace, and it's got data members, right? Okay. But, you know, he's declaring the type and assigning it to this at once. Okay, so now we have this problem. Semicolon expected after a declaration. That is a weird thing. What are we doing? It's token type note. Right. So this is actually wrong. You're supposed to have a semicolon, I believe. And he just got away with not having it. Go to the file. He's doing the same thing there. He's doing the same pattern in all his files, which is fine. It's just, nope, legit missing. Legit missing. Look at all these. Why are we reporting this one 4 times? Semicolon expected after a declaration. Let's take this one out, and I want to fix that we're doing so many. Look at all these missing semicolons, bro. All right. I want to scan for, let's have them after the comments. Oh. Look at all these. We were getting by for so long without. Okay, anyway, so after this, we should bail on parsing, because once you're missing a semicolon, who knows what the hell's happening. So no, I don't want to go. Why am I going here? I want to go to parser. So we should have a loop where we like parse one statement, right? Loop. Like that. Something like that. All right. Well, let's fix that. Ooh. Okay, well, let's fix the crash first, because it really could be due to any of these, although I suspect it's due to the last one. Let's just see. Really? Okay. that was an assertion. Okay, so what's going on? We're probably returning before we queue it. It's probably easier to return null. Line 37. Serialize. Line 37. I don't know what's going on there. None of these look like they're in that. So this is real weird. Let's track this guy down. This is important. Is there supposed to be a semicolon after deprecated? Don't notes match until white space? I don't know. I don't know what my policy is about parsing notes because we're probably going to change it anyway. This is a very commonly called procedure, but yes, I wish the conditional breakpoints were faster. I wish they were faster. While that's going, okay, that is straight up a missing semicolon. I'm afraid to change it though, because I don't want, you know, I'm starting to think that my chances of tracking this down, if I don't fix all of these. See, the problem is when you have parse errors like this, no, I don't know. It's probably fine. Let's just see. Let's see where we break. Are we going? Are we broken? I guess we're going. Look, we've printed one thing. Like this really should highlight the previous thing, but that's a thing we can do. We don't collect the correct hierarchical thing for this declaration, so we don't quite know where it's at. Semicolon expected after a declaration is the name of my new band. At least these are all legit cases of missing semicolons. Except maybe this one. I don't know what that one's about. Okay. So we are making our modify directive, hopefully. Yes. Okay, so why doesn't this get queued? Oh no, this does get queued, I think. No, it doesn't. Interesting. Okay, so let's do this again a lot faster. Because this hardly ever happens, so it'll be much faster to go to this point. Wow, there's 184 people partying with me on a Friday night here. Welcome, 184 people. Okay, why do we not? Oh, because interp reported error. Okay. Well, that's simple enough. That's a good enough reason. Still. Wait, did we run the wrong? Oh no, we didn't crash. Okay. This is my brain is getting confused. All right, let's fix all these. Let's fix all these. Wasn't it line 38? Oh, yeah. $123. Array literal, I'm going to say, requires a semicolon. That's my rule for now. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. Boy, I sure wish my editor was hooked up better. All I have to do is do metax compile in Emacs. Maybe we'll set that up today. If someone wants to talk me frickin' through it. Okay, material. OpenGL. So, you know, this is a case in which we're getting multiple errors, for example. Because each parser is unitized into its own thing. So one parser fails for one file, but that doesn't interfere our ability to process another file, right? Because they're, you know, they don't affect each other. So we feel okay reporting those. But for semantic processing, there's no equivalent right now. Semicolon expected after a declaration. The fuck? We don't have operator new anymore. What is that even doing? Look at all these missing semicolons. We're making the program so much better by putting semicolons in. All right. What is going on? I want to know what it's even thinking there. Do we have a variable called new? Oh. Yeah, this is, okay, so what happens is, in a static if, when a branch is not taken, it's not a branch, but like when a block is rejected due to false of this condition, all we do is parse it. We don't try to resolve it. So this thinks it's new is the name of a variable, and we're subscripting it. And then this doesn't make sense because nothing comes after a subscript like that, right? Yeah. But I might as well just do this because whatever. All right. So many semicolons. STB image. This is really one of those things where we want this error message to be better later. It will be. If we type 255, why are we including both of these? Wait, what? Why do we have both? I'm going to put that on the list. Free type 253 and 255. I'm not hallucinating that. Okay. That's an array literal. I'm reminding myself of things to say in an email. Okay. Animation channel. So many missing semicolons. The game's going to run so much faster with all these semicolons. It's going to be awesome. Oh, we have another array literal. Wait, what? Mixer Win32. Look at all these. Somebody ate every single semicolon. Look at all these. It's like we've been programming this game for years with a semicolon bug in it. What's going on here? Unable to parse an expression to the right of this binary. We'll see if that has to do with the other thing. It probably does. Yeah. Are we parsing manips twice for some reason? No. All right. All of Ignacio's things have this. Okay, this is supposed to be that, bro. So's that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, compile. Compile. It compiled. And it ran. Now we're going to have tests missing semicolons. So it's not like we're done. Did it compile in the past? Yes. But it compiled with code that was insufficiently diligent about making sure semicolons were where they need to be. Which is why all those mistakes crept in. Okay. So we compile with release build. Let's run tests. Ugh. Oh. Okay, well. Yeah, that's just bad juju if we crash, so we got to hit those. No, not release build. Stop. Stop. Okay, wait. Run tests. Wait, that doesn't even, that's not the right thing. Okay. I am obviously unions structs. Unable to open file with negative numbers. That's great. Enums. Okay. That didn't crash. So it was a different one. It was this one, temporary storage and context. No. Well, let's just fix those and see if we crash. Oh, run tests. runs the frickin' release compiler, which was not up to date. No, maybe it was. Now Visual Studio is just having a cow. All right. Pointer math, line 13. Two, 8, 7. So we're still crashing. That's good. I mean, it might be the run test script that's crashing, honestly. I don't actually know. It might just be our new code, our check is doing something bad. It might not be missing semicolon. Oh, is it? Is it this one that crashes it? No. So weird. Okay. Well, it'll all come out in the wash. Semicolon expected after a declaration. I'm glad there's only one here. I mean, maybe there's more, but like, this is a big file, so it could potentially harbor a lot of these, but it didn't. I'm surprised people didn't catch all these missing semicolons on stream. Maybe they did and I didn't notice. 1501. Why does Emacs think? Wait, what? No, I see. Ignacio's been putting a lot of code in, honestly. Look at all this stuff he put in. All right. Well, we're now into the extended examples. This is pretty old. This is, yeah. Blobman. 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 It's the same code. Blobman. Dear Blobman. Oh, Blobman, forget not your semicolons. Blobman. D3D11 tab. That is definitely a missing semicolon if I ever saw one. Oh yeah, we're getting, oh yeah, let's compile Sokoban again just to make sure. All right. Is this bug 178? Okay. Fix bug 178. Some changes to when semicolons are necessary. See upcoming email. Look at all those changes we just did. Oh, and that's not even including Sokoban, right? Because, oh God, we forgot to update. Oh God. Actually, do we need a new executable? Yep. Yep, well, it's just x64 stuff. It probably won't affect anything, but we're going to test again. We're testing. We're testing. So we've been streaming a lot of compiler stuff. How do people feel about if we stream some more game engine stuff soon? Would that be like a good change? I feel like people might be into that. Okay. Boom, all those files. And then we got to check in Sokoban. Fix missing semicolons, sync with recent compiler. Change. Chagny, change. Damn it. Why do people do work? Terrible. All right, well. Okay. All right, that's a lot of files changed. Let's see. Really enjoying the compiler work, but game engine stuff is interesting too. Game engine would be good. Yes, please, more Sokoban. I think it would be a nice break for me too, because I've been doing a really hard sprint on bug fixing for a while. And, you know, making the game do more is good. Oh, thanks for hosting you earlier today. You really appreciate. Yeah, no, it's good. I like to host people who are doing, how do I say it? Not JavaScript usually, you know? So that's cool. Okay. Now, I'm going to send an email, and I'm just going to dictate it to people, or to you guys. I'm sending it, and I'm saying, semicolons, exclamation point is the subject. And I am saying, I just fixed bug 178, which was about being able to do declarations without semicolons. Oops. There were lots of missing semicolons. I have fixed them. I made 2 executive decisions for the short term that we can question in the long term. The first is that array literals need semicolons after them, unlike, say, declarations of struct types or procedures that have bodies which don't. This may seem like a weird exception, and maybe it is, and maybe we should change that. Maybe put it The second decision is that if you declare a struct in the type slot rather than the value slot, that needs a semicolon. The reason I decided to do this is because using 1 colon versus colon colon is a mistake that many beginners may make. So I want to so the semicolon at the end is a way of signaling that something is wrong, unless you really know what you intended to do. This is maybe not a very good method, so it is something we should think about going forwards. Most people don't do this, but Ignacio did it intentionally in most of his files as a way of namespacing, but I think as we add library features, one of them will be a way to namespace without inserting all your stuff in this giant indented block. So this will be a pattern you probably don't want to do, I think. Do as much, I think. Not sure, we'll see. All right. Anyway, bug 178 is fixed officially. The nuances of where we put semicolons and so forth can evolve over time. We removed declaration no reset, so I could cross that off my list. That remove this assert has been removed, right? So that's off my list. Free type 253 versus 255. Holy cow. What is going on there? Who does 253? Why were we parsing that? Maybe it was one of the tests and I'm confused. Okay, Sokoban's not loading that. Maybe Invaders is. Nobody is. How were we parsing this and detecting missing semicolons if nobody is loading it? I am worried about that. Well, So the 5.5 has more procedures. I'm just going to delete 5.3. Anyone who wants 5.5 can update. I don't understand why this was getting loaded, but the best way to get to the bottom of the situation. Free type 253. So weird. All right. Doing this again just to make sure. Cranking through the tests. Maybe it used to be loaded, but the SVN update brought in changes that dropped it. That is possible. It seems unlikely, but it's vaguely possible. This is bothering me. Something is wrong, and I don't understand how that happened. But sometimes life is just busy, and if this is going to bite me, I'll just let it bite me later, and we'll figure it out later, frankly. Remove free type 253. Use 255 instead. Not sure why this was hanging around. I am bothered. The fact that we seem to be compiling somehow during missing semicolon time. Not sure how that happening. Well, now if it happens again, it won't work. Okay. Like, that's not even very close, you know, like last time I looked, the newest version of free type was 2.8, and that's probably not even true anymore. It's just, they changed the API so dramatically, and it looked hard to use, and I was like, oh God, I don't want to do this. Maybe we'll upgrade at some point on a stream. It's just, I didn't want to deal. Okay. Oh no, slideshow. Our continuous integration server sent me an email saying that slideshow is missing a semicolon. I didn't compile slideshow. Line 156. Oh, it's this thing again. Okay, that works. Great. 41831. Getting up there, getting bloated. I think 181 is going to be the next thing. But first, okay, I sent this email. Wait for multiple objects. File utilities, wait for. So you're saying one of these parameters should be infinite. So that we don't busy wait. DW milliseconds. If it's 0, the function does not enter a wait state if the specified objects are not signaled. Okay. Well, let's make that infinite. That was the fourth parameter. Number signedness mismatch. S32. That's U32, bro. Of course, now. Great. Wait for single object. It is supposed to be a D word. Yeah, just at some point I thought D word was signed. So now I've got to fix all these. Okay. Does that run? Yep. So we were going to check if that impacts the build time. Ugh, that was slow. 107, 105, 108. All right, so then let us go to here, and we're going to use LLD. I don't think it'll be really any faster. 103, 105, 106, 104. 103, 107. Yeah, there's not really a noticeable difference in speed, I don't think, between LLD. It is running LLD, as you see there. And now it's running link.exe. So we're no longer busy waiting. I don't think it impacted our build time too much, although I am seeing lower numbers here than we did see. So, oh, geez. Yeah, so I think it did impact it a little bit. Wait, do we actually? Are we actually capturing the input? Not really. We need our test. Let's just do that. All right, well, it didn't deadlock. So success to code to output OS run command /c type C Sokoban source general.h. Right? The syntax of the command is incorrect. So command.exe, right? Do I have to do that? No. Am I screwing this up somehow? this is the wrong folder. I don't think that, there we go. There we go. Except it's not going to the output now because I'm not passing the right, yeah. So this is the varargs, os run command, and then capture and return output is true. That's weird. We don't have a way to like return 2 or 4 values. Yeah, we could do that, but. Big file. So it says output colon and then the file. So it worked. That's great. That's great. Okay. So we got rid of our busy wait. It's a hair faster. Thanks for mentioning that. I was just as worried about having 18,000 lines of code as I am now about 41,000. Yes, we must always be vigilant. Okay. Here's what I think. I think that was good enough that I deserve at least a part of a cupcake, but I want to make some hot tea to go with the cupcake. So we're going to take a 5-minute tea break while I make some hot tea. Address on-topic questions to me. You would think changing a function's behavior based on the number of expected return values could become confusing quickly. Well, I was just saying you could declare 2 overloads of the function, right? One of them doesn't have that named parameter and the other one does, and it has, you know, more return values. Does the game run faster now with all those extra semicolons? Undoubtedly. It runs at the speed of light now. Oh yeah, we're opening the cupcakes. Sometimes you got to have a cupcake. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had a stream cupcake in a long time. While I'm waiting for the water to go, no one's really asking anything. Let's look at LVM. I have a feeling there's some stuff in here that I could factor out into converter help, which somebody asked about before. I wonder, see, this is stuff Josh probably did, and I don't know when he pasted things. Like this stuff, get line number. Okay. That's LLVM specific. Okay. Maybe there's not something to factor out. Maybe I already did that before. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I guess there's not really anything factorable. Or at least nothing obvious. That's good. Can cross that off my list of things to check. And get a T now. Okay. What is my indentation style? Can't you see the indentation style? I don't understand the question. How close to an alpha release? We're getting there. I would say hopefully by the end of the summer. We'll see. No syntax bike shedding questions, please. How much do I think a language should grow over time? Do you think there's a time to say the language is done, no more features? Probably not, because computers change. Hardware changes. So I don't think it makes sense to ever freeze something like that completely. However, you also don't want to go bananas like the C++ people and just add everything to your language either. That's terrible. So, you know, there's a fine line. Can I show bytecode codes? Oh. If you say that's worth a cupcake, I hope that means I can't have one, or hope it doesn't mean I can't have one until the end of summer. Do we have an equivalent of interfaces trait systems? Kind of. We're probably going to do something more like interfaces later because we handle them a lot better. So Go's interfaces, for example, take runtime performance in order to implement, and ours won't when we do them, so that'll be good. Has John Carmack showed interest in this language? I don't know John very well. I've just met him a couple times in life, and my feeling is he's very busy at Oculus working in his established technology base. So I wouldn't expect him to have enough time to mess with something like this. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit of cupcake. Someone's asking HarfBuzz versus FreeType. They're two different things. What do you mean? HarfBuzz does layout and FreeType does rasterization. Unless FreeType now also does layout, which I didn't think it did, but maybe they're adding everything in the world to FreeType. Have I checked out Slug? I have no idea what that is. Why do people name things names where you don't know what they are? Have I checked out Slug? I probably saw one last month when I was walking around after it had rained a little bit. Like, why do people think I'm going to give a crap about their cool project name? So tired. It's not. It's not. Why are you asking such ridiculous questions? Slug is Eric Langyil's GPU-based font renderer. Oh, okay. We'll take a look at it for sure. I'm interested in it because I want a good way to do dynamically scaling text or subpixel motion in text, which my current system would not be very efficient at. So, yeah. Assuming the alpha release happens by the end of summer, will there be a guide or docs? There'll be something, but keep in mind the alpha release is for a small group of closed group of people. So we're not going to work that hard on docs for that. We're going to use that to know what the docs need to be. Do I use the other ad tools besides telemetry? I mainly use telemetry from them. Oh, well, we used Bink in the Witness, for sure. But that was sort of just for that game. You recall I had a previous programming language called Lerp. How did that project end? It ended by me not really working on it because it, you know, it is what it is. Cupcake. Cupcake. How do I feel about really strict, strong type set systems? E.g. defining speed and distance types that are both floats at the hardware level but can't be assigned to each other. I am not sure how I feel about those. I haven't ever done that heavily. It's probably not that bad of an idea. I've been messing around with adding units to the language here. I'm not sure if that's the right way to do that or not. But yeah. Do I have a rant about Elon Musk? Why would I have a rant about Elon Musk? I would have a rant about people saying crap about Elon Musk, for sure. People whose biggest accomplishment in their life is tweeting, saying crap about Elon Musk. But that would be the only rant of that sort that I would have. The right way is to use boost.units. Do I own a Tesla? Yes. I own a 2010 Tesla Roadster. Do I get sugar crashes? Yeah, sometimes. Not lately, because I haven't been having as much sugar. My Roadster actually looks a lot like the one that was launched into space. It's the same color, etc. Yeah, instead of units, it could be a typed F that can't autocast. Yeah, that's the sort of easier implementation. And maybe I'll do that, because that's definitely useful. It's just even that might contaminate things, and you might have to cast it a lot. I don't know. I think we just try implementing it and see how it goes. PUBG or Fortnite? Pff, why are you even asking that question? Why are you even asking that question? That's a terrible question. If there's a bio attack, can I have a spot in your Tesla while we wait it out? Okay, you're obviously confused, okay? The Roadster does not have biohazard level air filters. Not even close. In fact, the Model S doesn't. Only the Model X does. So you would die from the bio attack just like I would. Can we die together in your Roadster? I don't know if you've seen the Roadster, but not a lot of people will fit in the Roadster. It's really not. Also, mine is a soft top convertible, so it's not like you could really keep air out. Wouldn't really work very well. What is my favorite avocado? I don't like avocados at all. Can you last in the blue zone longer in a Model X? I don't think the blue zone is gaseous, because if it were, then gas masks would help, and they don't. Am I not satisfied with the Alienware laptop? Yeah, that thing is a piece of junk. It's getting sent back post-haste. Post-haste. Okay. Let's do something. So bug 181, which I think is the last one, right? So 182 we fixed. And there is no 183. Let me just make sure we fixed 182. Didn't we do this morning? Oh, I decided this isn't a bug, right? That's a feature request. Okay, so bug 181. When an argument is conditionally baked, is constant always returns false. Okay. I suspect we're actually not doing the bake. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't know. Let's just run this and make sure that the output is in fact or run debug build on it. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess I just have to do that. Emit code for procedure call, line 16. No, not emit code. This. Conditions. Look at how long it took that to pop up and then fucking draw this as white instead of gray. It's so sad. Oh. Put me where the breakpoint is so I can fix it. Visual Studio gets worse every frickin' day. Really? Line 16. Oh, we're not running the right program. Hope somebody caught that. Okay. So it is. Wait, what? Oh, the procedure expression. Is a lambda, right? Obviously. Obviously. Okay. Well, I guess it wasn't ready. Okay, now it's ready. Okay, so here is where we should be polymorphing this. Maybe we skip it because the polymorph flag is not set on the procedure. Let's see. Sort arguments. Well, fiddlesticks. Okay, so we just return here. Let's verify that we just return here. Yeah. So we don't set the polymorphic flag on this procedure because it represents a procedure by itself, even if you don't bake anything. I think that's maybe fine. Okay. If it's not polymorphic, well, oh, so we have a lambda flag. So I don't know if this by itself will solve the problem. It seems to me more likely that this will open a little mini Pandora's box of many problems. But who knows? We compiled. Hey! I remember deleting this thinking it was redundant a long time ago. We need to handle optional bakes here. So we check both flags, flaggerinos. What podcasts do I recommend? I don't know a lot. I mean, sometimes Joe Rogan has really good guests. Sometimes Sam Harris has really good guests. Sometimes Julia Galef has really good guests. Hardcore History is pretty good for learning about history. Can you define robust types? What does robust type mean? Can I explain baking? There's a couple of entire demo videos on YouTube that go thoroughly through baking in all of its details and explains the feature very thoroughly. So I don't want to do it right now. You could probably find it by looking through. There's a list of specifically compiler demos. There's a playlist. At some point, we want to publish a table of contents and some annotations for those, but don't have those right now, unfortunately. Okay, fix bug 181. We're now down to one bug on the bug list. We are now down to bug 179. Robust type, e.g. vector less than greater than? What does that mean? Do you mean like C++ templates? We already do better than that. Okay. Circular dependencies, bug 179. Where is my cursor? Max. I don't know if this will happen anymore because we fixed the other thing. Oh. Oh, right. This doesn't use the main thing. This uses... All right. All right. Where's the missing semicolon? Line 51? Oh, because, yeah, he does that. Okay, it happens. That's good. Program contains circular dependencies. If the struct is removed, the compiler produces a very different error. Procedure call matches multiple overloads. Okay. I'm not sure why that would be. Not to try to specialize the polymorphic function, but instead use a different name. I see. We're not able to call a function of the same name from the body of a polymorphic function. Right. even though they're in the same scope. That's weird. That doesn't seem right. Well, let's just see what happens. Comment all this out, right? Wait. I mean, we don't need any of that, right? Yeah. So forget all this. If the functions are outside of a struct, the foo example compiles and runs fine. Weird. Weird. Okay. Well, that's definitely strange. I don't think C++ is getting rid of header files. They're going to add modules as an additional thing. Good night, real major lag. You can't get rid of header files because then all those old programs won't compile. So they're just going to add more complexity to try to speed up their build time. Okay. It'll be great. If I can fix this, then I will be able to go to bed at bug count 0. ZBC. We'll get our 0 bug count friend on the screen. There we go. He can just sit there and encourage us to get down to 0. All right. Well, he'll just live in my alt tab. I'll see him every time. Probably nobody in chat knows what game that's from, because it was a pretty bad game, honestly. But nobody knows what game this is? Am I the oldest person here? Oh, someone identified it, but probably by doing a web search. Feeling young is not a bad thing. It's really pretty good. Okay, well, let's just break in this thing that prints circular dependencies. And we'll just try to figure out what the hell is going on. don't care about your stupid... This program kills me. Now we're in release. Oh, you saw the Google search in the Alt tab. Okay. All right. So what is the stuck pipe? It's probably the infer pipe. It's very likely the infer pipe. Nobody ever gets stuck anywhere else anymore. Infer. Okay. It's got one item. That item is going to be this one. It's going to be this declaration of foo. And well, let's just verify that before we hypothesize too much. Lambda body. We could always be surprised. I've been surprised before. Line 24. Main, it's main that is stuck. Okay. Main probably has dependencies. Pipe flags 12. That's not relevant. So we want to look for this flag. It's probably 2. Yeah. So if something doesn't have a 2 lit, let's put it in hex so you can see that. Thanks for closing that, Visual Studio. I wasn't trying to look. So C has no 2 in it. A4 has no 2 in it. A4, A4, A4. None of these have any 2. Oh, there's other flags. Must pass run before we infer, and must pass size before we infer. So let's try these. 400, that's big, and this will be bigger. No, so I don't know why this is not clearing. Well, we can always here say we can pump that pipe. Let's see what happens. Oh, so we already have stuck pipe. False. All right, So let's see that. More C++ discussion is happening in the chat. Okay, so we're going to pump this pipe. And the thing successfully went to the output. That is good, but it means we got here prematurely. Because we thought we were stuck. We thought we were stuck, but we were not stuck. Actually, but let's look at the pipe again before we do that. What am I working on? I'm working on my pipes. Come on, man. Okay. Something got thrown back. Why did it get thrown back? Game of throwbacks. Why did you get thrown back? Well, we can determine this. Do I plus it? Yeah. Okay, so here we're going to say and I want to know if this gets thrown back multiple times or just once. One time, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did this really work? Yeah, okay, fine. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30, 40. Wow, what the hell? 17. Everything's going through all the other pipes. Okay. So why is this one getting thrown back? It's on a procedure call. probably we don't feel like we could dereference the struct yet, even though these members are constant. Let me just try. I wanna see. I want to see what's going on there. So terrible. Okay. Okay. So we run infer types. That special case didn't kick in, thankfully. And we're trying to infer our procedure call. Nope. All right. Get overload ident. Okay. I bet we yield here now. So we've got an overload list. Overload list items 2, that's correct. This one is inferred. This one is not inferred. This is weird because I don't feel like this should get stuck very much. So you know, these headers should infer very quickly. And we shouldn't need very much like this. Should be able to just look at that. The struct isn't waiting on any polymorphism. Okay, wait. The lambda is done. Okay, this is just an error in the program. So for this declaration, the lambda finished compiling long ago. It has an inferred type, right? But this declaration itself did not get that. And so the overload resolution is failing. It's not queued. Okay, the problem is because it's an overload, it's not getting queued correctly. Like there's some problem in the if statement, right? So we were working on this the other day, right? Add to scope. If there's this thing called register overload, and if we register overload, well, let's just break there. Let's just break there. So okay, we're calling check for redeclaration. Well, we'll just step. So the lambda is queued. It's just the declaration is not queued. Okay. Up here. So we find decal old. Okay, we don't do any queuing here. Okay. So we weren't redeclared because we successfully slotted in with another overload. So that's just setting the debug name on the lambda. Okay, it's this add to scope. This is wrong. I'm pretty sure that's wrong, but this case only happened. Like polymorphics headers need to get inferred. That's just how it is. Like that, I must have been experimenting at some time. Hey, look. Like, you know, I went back and forth in the compiler about what gets inferred when? Several times as I was figuring out how to do things. Let's build that with a debug just to see if we assert. See, just a little thing like that can screw things up. That's computers. That's computers. People are talking about C# in the chat. I disagree that C# has great performance. So here's the thing. People say stuff like this. Such and such language has great performance for most apps, just not the highly special purpose. And when people say that, I think Casey has a really good rant of this, but I probably do also. Like, I don't believe it because every single piece of software that I use in my everyday life is too slow and crappy. Like frickin' Visual Studio stalls all the time while I'm trying to type, right? Emacs stalls all the time while I'm trying to type. Stuff that I run on my iPhone is slow and laggy, right? Like, no software that I use is as fast as it should be, and not even like, that's not me being picky. It's like it interferes with my quality of life all the time. So you can't say that the languages these programs are written in are good enough to write those programs because empirically speaking, the programs are slow and frustrating and crappy, like every single piece of software. Very few exceptions to that. So I just don't agree with that general statement. To agree with that general statement, you would have to be happy with most software. So, yeah. Well, Android phones are worse than Apple phones in terms of being able to run applications. So the Apple slowdown thing is not really the excuse for that. All right. We are, do you know what we are right now? Fix bug 179 ZBC. Let's just delete that. Boom. Yeah. We need to get this guy nice and large. Let's get some Photoshop. Thanks, Adobe. You're so great. Well, I can't figure out my Adobe ID and password, so I can't use Photoshop even though I fucking pay a lot of money for it. Oh, I guess my ID is that. Trying so many passwords. Okay, I'm just not going to use Photoshop out of protest. Fuck you guys. I'll just move him around small size on the screen because I can't run Photoshop. I could probably view zoom in this, can I? Can Paint view zoom at all? No. All right. Yeah, it is Miller time. This is Miller time right here. This is what this is. I get to cross bug 179 off the list. There's still some things, as always. Okay, here, let's do something. That uses some of the features that we've done. You need to pick up the magnifier tool. Right. It's right there. There we go. There we go. This is what we're talking about. This is where we're at right now. Okay, one more Bengal spice. So when the Sokoban game boots up, I would like to, instead of letting the subversion output go to the console, I want to capture it using our nice new capture and put that output in the log. Okay. Okay. How do I log that to a file only? I don't know. So if error, whoops, we don't need to rebuild the compiler. Wanted string given bool. OS run command. Oh. It's kind of a long variable name to make people type. Wait, not debug build. Screw that. Release. All right. So, well, all right, I don't need to put the brackets. So here we go. So we captured it. We're printing it out. So now the question is, I don't want to send this to standard out. When we do log print, we do. So we want to log this only to file. It's our new thing. I got to get my tea before it gets cold. Okay. Subversion. If is valid logger file. We're just going to say log to file. Well, our logger really to file only, which is false. So that's the thing that puts it in standard out, and then you know, we can put these in the same place. And here, instead of log print, we could say our logger really message. Oh, message and ident. Output. Yeah, that's weird. Dots. What are our log modes? Are those in preload? I was putting the same output. That's not right. What is our... Okay. Error, comma, error. Okay. Hey, look. It didn't go there, but if we look in the logs, it is there, except my Emacs is putting control M's, but whatever. It thinks it's a DOS text format, whatever. Okay, let's take this out. All right. Now, what is going on there? It's because Subversion outputted like 1310 and we only want 10 or something. But I thought outputting to a file that's opened in text mode was supposed to get rid of that. Maybe it's not. File open. Did I get rid of text mode? I did. Yeah, because I think that whole standard I/O thing is kind of crappy. So here's what we'll do. We were going to make an entry point anyway. So let's exit this. Yeah. So why did I do that twice? So I'm tired, man. Okay, we're going to say log to file only. svn init standard out output true. And if error, log to file only svn init standard error, and then concatenate this stuff. True. Okay. And then in logger, okay, so new message is message, but if convert crlf, then string should have a thing, right? Replace, not implemented. Why do you have a string lib if you didn't give me replace, bro? Split. Here's what we'll do. We don't have replace in the string library, so this is how we roll. Segments is split message, comma, well, what in the Lexer do we have? If I could type the right quote. If it's a backslash in the middle of a string, here we go. RNR, right? Is it NR or RN? Carriage return line feed. I think it's RN, right? New message equals concatenate segments new line. That's quality code. Oh, dot dot. Dude, our error messages with highlighting is so good now. Segments 25. That's quality. I'm going to make that the implementation of replace until we get a better one. Log.text. Hey, look, it doesn't have the control M's in it anymore. How great is that? Okay. Now, string. I'm not going to do this max occurrences thing. Stir old. Let's be all lispy and make it short like that. And then for convert CRLF, we're going to say new message is replace old message RN with new line. Look, it's almost like we're using Perl. Okay. Old message. Message. It's so much like we're using Perl, in fact. Whoops, not to do. Log.text. 22:14:48. Oh, that's the build time. Let me change this just to make sure I'm seeing a fresh copy. Well, how's this? Okay. Where was I? SVN? No. Yes. No. Logger. So I suspect this is working, so we delete all this. We do go to SVN. I just wanted to say this just to make sure that we're seeing something up to date. Yes, we got the exclamation points. All right, so add awesome implementation of replace to string. SVN startup message, or SVN info message gets info dash dash version startup message gets logged to file only. Great. Great. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I have on my list to remove logical XOR. I think we're down for the day, right? What were we at? I don't know. Let's remove logical XOR because we're not going to use that anytime soon. Does anyone have a reason that I shouldn't? Should I put a speed note saying replaces temporary? No, because if anyone can't tell that that's temporary, then we deserve to fail. Why not leave it in for completeness? Because it makes the language more complicated and therefore makes more work for us. We're not removing XOR, we're removing logical XOR. Isn't not equal logical XOR? Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the point. Except not really, because not equal, like, you know, you have to cast a bool first, which you could do. Would not the logical operator autocast? No, it would test each independent value for each value independently as to whether it's true or not. It wouldn't autocast a bool. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of logical XOR. It was funny. It was funny to add, but I'm going to remove it. Maybe it'll come back someday. Oh, I took out the operator. Whoops. Okay. And plus, it makes our lines of code less. Okay, this clearly, like, wasn't totally implemented anyway. So it's better to not have it there. At this point, if something is not implemented, it shouldn't, like, have enums for its operations. All right. Okay. We're like down 10 lines. Look how good that is. Remove remnants of logical XOR. We just removed 0.025% of the compiler, right? Is that right? 1%, 0.1%. Yeah. Anytime you can get rid of 0.025% of the compiler, that is a good day. That's another item off my list. So many items. We're going to be doing features sometime soon. Make it the no space character. I agree with the avoid features, actually. I mean, I don't think you should avoid features if they make the language massively better, but you shouldn't add features if the benefit they provide is very small, because they have costs as well. This has been a pretty good stream. We're back at ZBC, and then we did a few more things besides. And we added a thing to Sokoban. We implemented our awesome version of string replace. What more do you want? All right, anybody, any questions? I feel like we're toward the end of the stream. Thank you for coming tonight. Any questions about what happened? Why anything was done the way it was? Why anything wasn't done not the way it was? Why there is something instead of nothing? What do I think about League of Legends? I'm just not generally interested in playing that kind of game. If I could, would I abandon C++ forever? Absolutely. Why do you think I'm making a new programming language? It's so that I can do that. That is the plan, and we are proceeding according to plan. Are there going to be docs? Yes, there will. What do I think about Fortnite? Come on, bruh. What's the next big feature you think we will add, if any? Better support for libraries and namespace control. Am I going to sell my company to Tencent? Hopefully not. Do I know Grossman algebra, and do I think it is useful to learn? Well, nobody really learns Grossman algebra strictly anymore, right? People learn geometric algebra, which is an extension of that and like a modern conceptualization. And I think that is super useful, yes. It really helped with the way that I solve problems. Even if I'm doing math and linear algebra, the fact that I learned that stuff really affects the way that I think about problems. What are some cool defining features of the language? You can go look at the YouTube playlist. It's got a good list of features. Sorry I don't have it linked on the page. We'll do it sometime. Was creating a programming language harder or just as hard as I expected it to be? I have done like 10 languages before, so I pretty much know how this goes. They were much smaller, more toy languages, but I mean, come on. You know, once you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. This is a much more ambitious and much more thorough project than any of those, but I've done really ambitious and thorough games, so I just know how these things go. You know C, but you want to learn another language to broaden your view a little bit. Any recommendations? I would say Lisp or Scheme or something. Can you please check your string replace again? You thought there was an off by one error. Oh, right, because of the number of instances of the pattern should be -1. I thought of that and then didn't, right? Like, yeah. So the number of occurrences, if we don't split this at all, we'll have one thing. Right? Right? My particular call to this didn't look at the return value. Fix a terrible, terrible bug in the replace implementation. What would I say? This first step in learning to program, to stop procrastinating and waiting and asking for permission. Like the fact that people even ask this question, and it's not just the person in chat asking this question. People do this all the time. It's like, look, you're on the internet. In the time you are spending typing that question, you could be typing into Google, how do I learn to program? And then doing whatever it says. Like, it's really not very hard if you're actually interested to find ways to get started. You're reading a book about Grossman algebra. Is it an old book or what? It's a new book. Okay. Well, it's probably good to read. It's just, you know, is it like an applications-oriented book or is it more like a pure math book? Good luck learning to program. But yeah, you have to take the initiative. That's the thing. All programming is about the person, the programmer, taking initiative. So taking initiative to learn to program is a good first step into that. You're working on a Unity game, and while this has happened, you've got some work done. Right on. That's good. That is good. Eric Langill's Foundations of Game Engine Development Series. Yeah, maybe he doesn't really distinguish. Was Langill the guy who gave the GDC talk this year about the C++ operator overloads? If so, I didn't like that talk. I walked out of it. I don't know. I haven't read any of his books lately, so but I do seem to remember him talking about Grossman algebra or geometric algebra, so maybe it was. Really like that perturbation theory video. Yeah, that's a whole class. There's like 20 videos in that series, by the way. It's not just one. Why is Abner never in the chat? Well, I mean, he works on this for his day job, so he's probably working. Well, let's find someone to host. Let's find someone to host. Well, they changed the way the front page of Twitch looks. Well, let's see. Not a lot going on in programming right now. Fortnite Hugando, that's not programming. AR VR Magic Leap browser with JavaScript. Oh, the JavaScript part killed all the interest I had. Arduino LED Matrix WebDraw project. What? Is that pretending it's an Arduino matrix on the web? What? Game dev, thinner judgment in Unity. Let's build a website. Learning Scala. Okay, we could host a Scala stream. For those of you who want to see a bananas programming language. Let's make sure it's live and happening. All right, let's do it. Yeah, I've been going for several hours. 4 hours almost. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and I'll see you later.